Hammer sounds. It all started last summer. My two friends, Emre and Zeynep, and I decided to sneak into the abandoned construction site just outside our neighborhood. It was supposed to be a building project that was left unfinished years ago. The walls were half-built, the cranes were rusted. But among the kids in the area, there were always rumors. At night, you can still hear hammering. Someone might still be living there. The site was built on top of an old mental hospital. Instead of scaring us, those stories just made us more curious. One Saturday afternoon, we packed flashlights and snacks in our bags and secretly went there. The site was quiet, but there was something strange in the air. There was no wind, but it felt like someone was whispering. We climbed up the concrete stairs. There were only piles of bricks and empty windows. And then it happened. Tap, tap, tap. Hammering sounds. For real. We looked at each other. This wasn't a prank. The sound was coming from below. We slowly walked down the stairs and headed toward the room where the sound came from. There was no door, just a dark opening. We pointed our flashlight inside and stepped in. There was a red arrow painted on the wall, and beneath it, a message. Go back to where you left your mind. Zeynep, what does that mean? Emre, I think this place used to be a mental hospital. Maybe someone is still inside. We kept going. We found a door leading downward, its lock broken. The stairs led down, deeper, much deeper. It was like the building's foundation led to another world. Stone walls, the smell of mold, and those hammering sounds still echoing from somewhere. At the very bottom, there was a door, metal. It had a number on it, Room 9. We pushed it open. Inside, it looked like an old patient room, but what stood out were the carvings on the walls. I'm still here. I can hear your voice. I can't leave this room. And right then, something moved in the dark. It had eyes, and it was looking at us. Our flashlight flickered. Our hearts almost stopped. As we backed away, the thing behind us started banging the floor with a hammer, not chasing us, but blocking the path behind us. We barely made it out of the sight. When we reached the daylight, none of us said a word. We didn't know what we saw, but we never went back. Since that day, every night as I lay in bed, tap, 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 the hammering echoes in my room. And yesterday, I found a piece of paper under my pillow. Same handwriting. It said, "Now it's your turn."
Hammer Sounds, Part 2, Room 9. I read the paper under my pillow over and over. Now it's your turn. The handwriting looked just like the messages carved into the walls of Room 9. Thin, shaky, but angry. The next morning, I told Emre and Zeynep. At first, they didn't believe me, but then Zeynep pulled something out of her pocket. A small piece of paper with the words, "If you don't come back, someone else will take your place." She had found it under her bed the night before. And Emre, he showed us a voice recording he made on his phone. All through the night in his room, there was the sound of hammering. And at the end of the recording, a whisper. Room 9 cannot stay empty. We had entered that room. Maybe we had awakened something. Maybe we touched something we weren't supposed to. No one would believe us anyway, so we told no one else. But we knew what we had to do. We had to go back. Until we knew what was going on, this thing wasn't going to let us go. At 11 p.m. that night, we snuck back into the abandoned site. This time we brought stronger flashlights, a camera, and a rope just in case. The staircases and the rooms were all the same. It was like time had stopped inside the building. When we reached the lower level, we found Room 9 again. But this time, the door was locked with a thick chain. There was a note hanging from the chain. If you want to enter, leave a part of yourself behind. If not, we'll take something else." Emre took off his bracelet and hung it on the chain. The chain unwrapped itself. The door creaked open. Inside, this time, there was a bed. On it, a torn hospital gown. A camera hung from the ceiling, no wires. The walls were quiet now, no carvings. But on the floor, there was a large symbol drawn in chalk, a circle with 9 short lines coming out of it. At the end of each line, a drawn eye. When Zainab pointed her flashlight at the symbol, one of the eyes blinked. We tried to run, but the door slammed shut behind us, and from the ceiling we heard a voice. "You have arrived." Suddenly, our flashlights died. The room went pitch black. And then, hammering. Tap, tap, tap. But this time, it wasn't in the distance. It was right behind us. Emre screamed. Zainab started crying. I couldn't turn around. Something was breathing behind us, but it had no face. The walls began to shake, the floor cracked beneath us, and something whispered in our ears. "Now you have your own rooms." Then the back wall of room 9 slid open. A new hallway appeared. On both sides, doors, and on each door, a name. Zainab, Emre, my own name. We were frozen in shock. At the very end of the hallway, there was one final door. Above it, the words, "The 9th eye has opened. There is no return."